Good morning, students. Today we are going to see the next lesson, that is skeletal movement and locomotion. So far we have seen many systems in our body. Today we are going to see the skeletal system. Before starting the skeletal system, we should know why we should study about skeletal system. What is the importance? What is the function? So functions of the skeletal system. Of course it is for movement, locomotion. Movement and locomotion. Locomotion is the entire body move from one place to another place. This is locomotion. Movement, only a part of the body shows the movement. Okay, so this is the difference between the locomotion and movement. So first function is support. It supports the body. We can't even imagine our body shape without the skeletal system. The skeletal system is not there. Our body will be like a mass of flesh. Okay, the structure will not be seen. So it gives support. It supports all the other systems. Then protection. It protects all the internal organs. Take the rib cage. Heart, lungs, everything is kept in the rib cage. Okay, so it protects all the internal organs. Protection. Then movement. Of course, with the help of the bones only, we are moving. All our parts, the muscles, all these attached with the bones. When we move the bones along with the bones, this also will be everything. The entire part will be showing the movement. Okay. The next, leverage. For doing some work, lifting some weight, it is useful. Okay. Then formation of blood cells. If you take the structure of the bone, we are going to see. If you take the inner side of each bone is having the cavity. Inside of the bone cavity, we can see bone marrow. Bone marrow only produce the blood cells. RBC and WBCs are produced in the bone marrow. So production of the blood cells. Then storehouse. Storehouse of what? Storehouse of calcium and phosphorus. What are the food that we eat constitute many minerals, and calcium and phosphorus are major things which are necessary for the strong bone and teeth. And these extra calcium and phosphorus are deposited in the bones. So they serve as a storehouse. Okay. So all these are the functions of the skeletal system. Now if you take the skeletal system, the constituents of the skeletal system consists of, it is made up of bones, cartilage, ligaments. Bones, hard. Okay, the bones all are seen, bones, and we are going to observe the skeletal system. And bones are hard, but cartilage or flexible. See this one also, this pinna is made up of cartilaginous bone. This nose tip is made up of cartilaginous bones. And in between the vertebrae, you can see this cartilage. And each bone, the tip of the bone is covered by the cartilaginous sheet. Okay, so that these things, cartilaginous, I can fold it like this. It is flexible, but this bones and kidney bones and all, we cannot bend. Okay, that's the difference. And ligaments join one bone to the other bone. All these bones are joined to form their skeletal system. How they are joined? Naturally by ligaments. Okay. Then, if we take the bone, on the base of the types, we are going to see the types of bones. We have long bones. Thigh bone is a long bone. Humerus bone is a long bone. Thigh bone is the longest bone. Femur. Okay. And then short bones. Short bones, the wrist bones and all short. We are going to see the name of each bone. Name of the wrist bone and the palm bones, hand bones. Okay. All these we are going to see. The wrist bones are short. And flat bones. If you take the chest bone, sternum, here we have sternum, chest bone, it is flat. If you take the skull also made up of flat bones. Okay, the bones are flat. Then irregular. If you take the facial bones, the skull. If you take cranial bones and facial bones together form the skull. The facial bones are different in shapes. They are not the particular shape, very irregular. We cannot tell them whether it is a triangle or a round, spherical or a square. We cannot say like that. So irregular shape. Okay. So all these are the different shapes of the bones. Types: long bone, short bone, flat bone, irregular bone. Then the structure. If you take the bone, it is made up of hard structure which encloses the cavity. The cavity is filled with bone marrow. Okay, the edge of the bone, each bone, each bone, it is covered by the cartilaginous sheet. Okay, so it has a cavity which is filled with a bone marrow. Okay, next we are going to see the skeletal system. How many bones are there in our skeleton, and where they are placed, how they are called. Okay. We are going to observe the skeleton and learn the parts. Okay. So I already told you the skeletal system, human skeletal system consists of two main divisions. One is axial skeleton and the other one is appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton includes skull, vertebral column, rib cage, sternum. Okay. Skull, vertebral column, rib cage, sternum. Appendicular skeleton, pectoral girdle, forelimbs, pelvic girdle and hind limbs. Okay, pectoral girdle, forelimbs, pelvic girdle, hind limbs. Now we are going to study part by part. Axial skeleton, skull. We are going to see about the skull, then vertebral column, then rib cage. Okay. Now we are going to say the skeletal system. It consists of two major divisions: axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton gives the framework. Appendicular skeleton helps in movement. That's the difference. Okay. Axial skeleton includes skull, vertebral column, legs, sternum. Skull, vertebral column, backbone, rib, sternum. Okay. So this skull, if you take skull, the skull is made up of two types of bones. One is cranial bones, which forms the cranium, inside which the brain has been kept, and facial bones. Okay. So cranial bones, cranium, 8 bones are there. We are going to see each and everything separately. Then facial bones, 14 bones. Now if you take the ear ossicle, ear structure of the ear, you would have learned already in the classes. Inside the ear, 3 bones are the ear ossicles: incus, stapes, malleus. And this ear 3 bones, this ear 3 bones. Altogether 6 ear ossicles. Okay. Then hyoid bones here. We have the bone here, hyoid bone, 1 bone. So all these together, 29 bones are there in the skull. Okay. Then if you take the vertebral column, backbone. Backbone is made up of number of vertebrae. There are individually 33 vertebrae are there. But if you go as you proceed, posterior part of the body, part of the vertebral column, it fuses to form single bone. Okay. So individually 33 bones. When they are fused, they are counted as 26. Okay. Then, if you take the ribs, 12 pairs of ribs. Okay. So 12 pairs of ribs, 12 into 2, 24 bones. Then sternum, chest bone, sternum, one bone. So altogether this forms 80 bones in the axial skeleton. Axial skeleton includes 80 bones. Okay. And if you take the appendicular skeleton, the skeleton, the part of the tissue of the skeleton which helps us to movement. So that appendicular skeleton, it can be divided into two categories. One is bones of the limbs, forelimb and hind limbs. And both the limbs, each forelimbs and hind limbs, each limb has 60. Okay, 30 plus 30, 60, 40. 30 is this 2, 30 and hind limbs 30. So 60 into 2, 120. Four limbs together, 30 plus 30, 60 bones. Hind limbs together, 30 plus 30, 60. So 60 plus 60, 120 bones are there in the limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs. The next one, girdles. This one is a pelvic girdle. This is pectoral girdle. Shoulder bone is called pectoral girdle. Hip bone is called pelvic girdle. So pectoral girdle, this collarbone, clavicle and shoulder bone, scapula. Will be the pectoral girdle 2. Here 2, clavicle, scapula this side, clavicle, scapula this side. So 2 plus 2, 4. Okay, 2 plus 2, 4. Then pelvic girdle, hip bones, 2 bones are there. Everything together 126. Appendicular skeleton includes 126 bones. And this, if you add this one, 80 plus 126, 206 bones are there in our body. So the human body has how many bones? 206 bones. Okay. So we are going to see each and everything separately. Skull we are going to see, and you are going to observe the skeleton and learn the name of the bones, each bones. Okay. Now the skull consists of cranial bones and facial bones. Cranial bones, frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal and ethmoid. Okay, so all these skull bones, you can see they are joined, see, zigzag. This is sutras. They joined, the bones are joined like this. Okay, so if they want to do any surgery, they can open the skull like this. So this joint is immovable joint. Then these are the facial bones. Okay, so this eye orbit, nasal bones, upper jaw and lower jaw, mandible and maxilla. And the skull has a hole. Okay, so through which the spinal cord from the brain, it emerges from the brain and passes to the, connect with the spinal cord. Okay, medulla oblongata connect with the spinal cord. Okay, and it has a projection to occipital condyle. These two occipital condyle, it helps for rotating the head on the first vertebra. Okay, so this is about the skull, cranial bones and facial bones. Cranial bones are joined. The joint is called sutras. Okay, immovable joints. Now we are going to see the next axial skeleton, the vertebral column. If you take the vertebral column, it has cervical vertebrae, thoracic, lumbar, sacral. Okay, so these are the vertebrae, different divisions of vertebrae: cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar, sacral. Okay, and then next one, rib cage. If you take the rib cage, 12 pairs of ribs are there, 12 pairs. Okay, in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 ribs fuse with the sternum. This is the sternum chest bone, fuse with the sternum, the front, and they fuse with the vertebral column at the back. Okay, so these 7 ribs, 7 pairs of ribs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs of ribs are called as true ribs because they are fused with the sternum directly. Then 8, 9, 10, these 3 ribs fuse together, then they join with the sternum. Okay, so they are called as false ribs. The last 2 pairs, 11 and 12th pair, they are not joined with sternum. They join only at the back with the vertebral column. They are not joining with the sternum. So they are called as floating ribs. So true ribs, false ribs, floating ribs. And this part, this portion, why it is black in color? Because this part is made up of cartilaginous bones. Okay, that is why we cannot preserve cartilaginous bones like this. So we are joining with the steel plate. Okay, cartilaginous bones. So we have seen the axial skeleton, skull, vertebral column, then rib cage. Next we are going to see the appendicular skeleton. This pelvic girdle, pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. Now we are going to observe skull clearly. It has facial bones and cranial bones. The cranial bones, 8 we are seeing. Isn't it so? In this 8, 1 frontal, 2 parietal, 2 temporal, 2 sphenoid and 1 occipital. All together 8 bones. Okay. Next, facial bones. Facial bones, 14 bones are there. 2 orbit, 1 nasal, 2 zygomatic, 1 mandible, lower jaw, 1 maxillae, upper jaw. Ear bones, 6 bones. Each ear, incus, stapes, malleus, 6 bones and 1 hyoid bone. All together. In the vertebral column, we have 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacrum fused to form 1 bone and 4 coccyx fused to form 1 bone. Altogether we have 33, but since they are fused, we have 29. Okay. In the rib cage, first 7 pairs of ribs are directly fused with the sternum in the front, with the vertebral column at the back. So they are called true ribs. Next, 8, 9, 10, these ribs, they fuse first together, then they are joined with the sternum. So they are called as false ribs. If you take the 11th and 12th ribs, they are attached only with the vertebral column. They have no connection with the sternum at all. So they are called as floating ribs. So first 7 true ribs, then false ribs, last 2 floating ribs. Now we are going to see the appendicular skeleton elaborately. We have seen 126 bones are there in the appendicular skeleton. The skeleton which is useful for their locomotion and movement. First, bones of the, it includes bones of the limbs and girdles. Bones of the limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs, if you take humerus, this bone, arm bone, then radius. Radius and ulna, this part you can see, radius and ulna. Carpels, varus bones, metacarpals, palm bones, phalanges, finger bones. Okay, so humerus, only single bone here, this side and this side, left and right together, 2 bones, 1 into 2. Radius, same like this, here 1 radius, here 1 radius, 2 bones. Ulna, here and ulna, 2 bones. Carpals, 8 wrist bones here, this and 8 wrist bones, this and 8 into 2, 16. Metacarpals, 5 metacarpals, palm bones. So metacarpals 5 into 2 hands, both the hands. Phalanges, fingers, each hand 14 bones are there in the phalanges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So each hand 14, 2 hands together 14 into 2, 28. Okay. Then hind all together if we add 60 bones are there in the forelimbs. Okay. In the hind legs, femur, thigh bone, both the thigh, 2 thighs we are having. So forelimbs and hind limbs. In the hind limbs, right and left, femur, 2 bones, 2 legs. Tibia, the leg bone, tibia and fibula, 2 bones are there in the tibia. This side one tibia, this leg one tibia, 2. Fibula, same like this leg 1 fibula, this leg 1 fibula, 2 bones. Tarsals, the ankle bones are called as tarsals. Here carpals, these bones are called carpals, here tarsals, ankle bones. Okay. 7 bones are there, 7 twos are 14. And here carpals 16 are there, but here tarsals only 14 because 2 bones fused together form the ankle bone, bigger ankle bones. Okay. Then phalanges, the toes, but say there's phalanges only here. Same like phalanges in the hand, 4 names, 14 into 2, 28. Then in addition to this, we have the kneecap. In between the femur, tibia and fibula, in between the thigh and the leg part, we can see a bone called patella. It is called kneecap. Okay, so if we add everything, both the knees, this side 1 kneecap, this side 1 kneecap, 2. Everything together 60 bones. Okay, so forelimbs 60, hind limb 60. Girdle if you take, pectoral girdle, shoulder bone is called pectoral girdle, clavicle, scapula, shoulder bone, 2 scapula, this side 1 scapula, this side 1 scapula, 2. Clavicle, here 1 clavicle, here 1 clavicle, 4 bones, 2 bones, all together 4 bones in the pectoral girdle. Pelvic girdle, hip bones, it consists of 2 hip bones fused. So together the girdles include 6 bones. So forelimb 60, hind limb 60, girdle 6 bones. Altogether 126. And axial skeleton 80. Together 206. Okay. Now we are going to say elaborately skull bone. How to call them, where they are located, how they are joined. Okay. Now we are going to see the appendicular skeleton, pectoral girdle. Pectoral girdle consists of a collarbone, clavicle and shoulder bone, scapula. Shoulder bone, scapula. This one is the collarbone. Collarbone, clavicle, scapula. They forms a cavity, glenoid cavity, into which the radius, the humerus bones articulates. Okay, this bone, humerus bones articulates. So clavicle and scapula forms the pectoral girdle. Then the arms, forelimbs. If you see, this one is single bone. This hand is made up of single bone, and it is humerus. This bone is called humerus. And this hand part, this portion is made up of 2 bones, radius and ulna. Then the wrist bones. These are carpals and palm bones, metacarpals. The finger bones are called phalanges. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 phalanges. Okay, 5 metacarpals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metacarpals. Then 8 carpals, the wrist bone. Okay, so this forms the upper limb with the pectoral girdle. Okay. Collarbone, clavicle,
scapula, humerus, radius and ulna, carpals, 5 metacarpals, and phalanges. These forms the pectoral girdle and the upper arm. Phalanges, you can count and see 14 phalanges, 8 carpals, 5 metacarpals. Radius and ulna form the hand bone. Humerus single bone. It articulates in the cavity formed by clavicle and scapula. Okay, this forms the pectoral girdle and the upper arm. Now we are going to see the pelvic girdle. This is the pelvic girdle. It is formed, this is the hip bone. It is formed of 3 bones. 3 bones fused together form the hip bones. Okay, ilium, ischium, pubis. These 3 bones fused to form the hip bones. And this pelvic girdle has a cavity. In this cavity, acetabulum, the femur rotates. The head of the femur bone rotates. Okay, and the lower limbs. If you take the lower limbs, this is the longest bone, femur, thigh bone. Okay, and thigh bone is connected with the legs, patella. It is the kneecap. And if you see this one, this is the kneecap, tibia, fibula, 2 bones, leg bones, and 7 tarsals. Okay, why 7 tarsals? 2 tarsals together form the heel bones. Okay, then metatarsals, 5 metatarsals, then phalanges. Okay, toes, the bones of the toes. These form the lower limbs. Okay, so pelvic girdle and the lower limbs. We have seen axial skeleton, skull, vertebral column, sternum, rib cage, appendicular skeleton, pelvic pectoral girdle, forelimbs, pelvic girdle and hind limbs. Okay, this forms our skeleton. Then next comes the joints. The joints already in skull bone. I explained the joints. And this one, ball and socket joints here. Movable joints, hinge joints, partially movable. Okay, so these are the different types of joints we can see in our skeletal system. Here, the pelvic girdle and the lower limb. The hip bone is formed by the fusion of 3 bones, ilium, ischium and pubis. It forms a cavity. That cavity is called acetabulum, into which the head of the femur articulates. Then the lower limb, thigh bone is called femur, the longest bone. Then patella, kneecap, tibia and fibula, the thicker bone tibia, thinner bone fibula. Tarsals, metatarsals and 14 phalanges.
Now we are going to see the joints. If it's observing the skeletal system, now the bones are joined, then only it can move, okay, together. So what are the joints? The joints are classified into 3 categories: immovable joints, partially movable joints, freely movable joints. Immovable joints, they cannot move, but they join together. If you take the skull bone, the skull bones are, the cranial bones are joined like this. It is called sutures. Okay, that is an example for immovable joints. Then partially movable joints. Partially movable joints, they finger bones, partially it will move. Okay, vertebral column. If you take the vertebral column, the movement will be partial. Freely it cannot move. Okay, cannot rotate. Then freely movable joints. Freely movable joints, they can move freely. Okay. So these freely movable joints are classified into four categories. Gliding joints. Gliding joints, wrist bones. They glide, one bone is glide over the other. Okay. Ankle bones and wrist bones. Then pivot joints. Only certain distance. See, the head is rotating on the vertebral column. The second vertebra. Like this only you can rotate. You cannot rotate it back. Okay. So that sort of movement, the freely movable joint is called pivot joint. Then hinge joint, only one way. This side we cannot bend. Okay. Hinge joint. Then ball and socket joint. In this ball and socket joint, when a cavity should be there, and the bone, the end of the other bone should rotate inside. Ball and socket joint. Okay. So this type of joint we can see in the shoulder bone. Okay. And our femur. Okay. This type of a ball and socket joint. This ball and socket joints also called as synovial joints because they are provided with a lubricant or synovial fluid. Okay, if you take this, what I have drawn here is a synovial joint. Two bones, they are, in order to avoid the friction, continuously they are in the movement. So their chances are there to get friction. In order to avoid friction, God provided natural lubricant, synovial fluid. Okay, and the synovial fluid, it should be there in a cavity. It should be held in between the bones. Okay, so these two bones, first they are connected with the ligaments, then they are covered by a synovial membrane. The synovial membrane forms a sac-like structure. It encloses synovial fluid. And at the end of the bones are covered by, coated with cartilaginous sheet. So cartilaginous sheet and synovial fluid, they help in avoiding the friction. Okay. So these bones are also, these joints are also called as synovial joints. So we have seen all these different types of joints. Next we are going to see, after finish observing all these joints, and we are going to see the muscles, how muscles are helpful in movement. Next we are going to see the muscles which are important for the movement and the locomotion. Now when the bones move, along with the bone, muscles should be attached with the bones, then only it can be, the part can be moved along with all these parts. All these muscles what are present in the skin, muscles, everything together, since they are attached with the bones, they can move. How they are attached? The muscles are attached to the bones by tendons. Fibrous tissue called tendons. Ligaments attach bones and bones. Tendons attach muscles with bones. Okay. So they are attached with that. The muscles are attached with the bones by tendons. And the types of muscles, on the base of the structure, the muscles can be classified into three types: smooth muscles, striated muscles, cardiac muscles. Smooth muscles, big tapering ends. Striated muscles, dark and light band they have. And cardiac muscles are branched. They can be seen only in the heart. Then on the base of the function, the muscles are classified as voluntary and involuntary muscles. Some are voluntary as well as involuntary. Voluntary muscles are not under our control. Okay. Then voluntary muscles are, we can make them to move. Okay, voluntary muscles. Involuntary muscles, they are not under our control. Okay. For example, if the foot pipe, up to here only swallowing, up to till we swallow the food only, it is under our control. After that, the food passes into the intestine by peristaltic movement of the foot pipe. So that is not controlled by us. Okay. And some muscles like diaphragm and eyelids, if I don't want to move my eyelid, I can keep like this. And if I want to move it, I can move. But this diaphragm also, if we take diaphragm, If you breathe in, we can keep the diaphragm in its position without movement. It is under our control. Okay. Sometimes it is under our control while we are breathing. It is voluntary. So voluntary as well as involuntary. This will come under this category. Okay. Eyelids and diaphragm and all. Then antagonistic muscles. Some muscles, they cannot function without the functioning of the other muscles. They work together. They work along with the other part. Other type of muscles is not there. It cannot function. Okay. Such muscles are called as antagonistic muscles. And this antagonistic muscles, this four triceps and biceps muscles are the example of this. Okay. See, in our upper arm, tricep muscles and bicep muscles. When I stretch my hand, the bicep muscles expand and this tricep muscles contracts. When I fold my hand, the bicep muscles contracts and tricep muscles expand. Okay, if it cannot expand, I cannot fold. Okay, if this one is not contracting, I cannot stretch my hand. So tricep and bicep muscles work together. Okay, without the functioning of the other muscles, it cannot function. Such muscles are called as antagonistic muscles. Okay, so here we have seen skeleton, skeletal system structure, and the joints, types of joints, muscles. And next we are going to see how one more thing is helpful for us to move, show the movement and locomotion, that is lever system in our body. Okay, that we are going to see next.
The movement of different parts in our body is made easier due to lever action. Okay, as you all know, in physics you would have studied there are three orders of lever: first order, second order, third order. The first order, the fulcrum is in the center. Our head is resting on the first and second vertebra. This shows the first order lever. The second order lever, the load is in the center. When we raise our weight, when we raise our heel, lift our body, we are showing the second order lever. The third order lever, the effort is in the center. When we flex our arm, we are showing that movement shows this type of lever. So here in this lesson, we have seen the skeletal system, muscles, and types of movements. And with this, we are finishing locomotion and movement physiology as well as anatomy. Okay, I hope you have understood everything. We will meet you in the next class. Bye.